Hi everyone, friends. Welcome to another episode of Matka Chai. And today we have the beautiful, gorgeous, and talented Dr. Vandana Nadig Nair. So, from ELDERAID, which is what she's doing now, but she has a Pandora's box which she'll open in terms of what all she can do, she has done. We'll talk to her. Welcome to the finer side, Matka Chai.
Thank you.
Okay. So, like the finer side is a art gurukul which started in the month of August 2020. From November, we started doing events when it was opened up, and we have done music, dance, theater, variety of stuff there. Peak pandemic, we had more than 200 to 300 people coming there physically sitting because it's an open air kind of a thing, so it's very comfortable. SOP is taken care. But we thought, okay, we also should be online. You know, secretly, the investors will look for what do you have online. So we didn't want to do classes online because you're a dancer, so you can understand our energies when people are together, not online. So we
Yes.
also believe that, and we said we'll hold on to that thought, and we will wait for the classes to start when pandemic is has decided to leave us. But we can't do anything. IIT Kanpur still is there, and they keep bringing in good news once in a way. 4 months later, one more lockdown, and we don't know. We
Yeah.
will figure that
Yeah.
out. Well, so this conversation has no agenda. The agenda is only to get to know you, get to know what you do, how you did whatever you did, and where you are today. And
Thank you.
probably on the way, if we find some friends of yours commenting, pinging, we'll bring them up and we will chat with them also with you. That is
Sounds like a
surprise
plan.
for me. Yeah. So tell us. First, I want to ask. No, I'll ask it later. Uh, your childhood. Start from your childhood and go upwards.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. Absolutely love the idea of just showing up and then not having to do any prep. So this was awesome. And my apologies, it's not matka chai. It's Coke and it does not have rum in it.
Yeah. Mine
Uh,
is matka and chai.
awesome. So okay. Grew up, I like to say, like an only child because my younger sibling is 6 years younger. Spoiled brat, um, and many interesting stories. I hope my mom's not here on the show. But yeah, so my dad was with the IDBI, which means he had a transferable job. So born in Rourkela, then 1 year Delhi, then Chennai, then Bombay, then Calcutta, then Bangalore, then back to Bombay, and then the US for the PhD, and then Bangalore, and then I've been here. I've been here now for the past 26 years. So been all over the place. Childhood was um, good, normal, regular. Childhood used to wear soda butti glasses, hugely myopic. Was classic nerd, first, second in class, that kind of person. Um, went to Holy Angels Convent. So here's an interesting piece of trivia. The first time I went to a co-ed institution was in my master's at Bombay University.
Oh my God.
I was in convents, then in Ashok Hall in Calcutta, and then in Mount Carmel College in Bangalore. So yeah, that's, I guess, quite an anomaly,
Highly empowered woman.
which I am. And that the credit goes completely to my parents.
Good. Could you just tilt your screen a little down? We are seeing
Like
more of the
this.
books. Yep, perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Okay, good, good.
Yeah, yeah. So from Mount Carmel, next.
So, okay, so yeah, I think in between came there was Bombay and then there was Calcutta, which was interesting because that's where I met my now husband. But so we've been buddies since we were 15, And finally, at some point, we decided perhaps no one else would have us and we'd get old and be alone, so we might as well marry each other.
So
We've been married 26
my
years.
previous question, which I wanted to ask, was very interesting to see Vandana, Nadig, and Nair. So agreed, Nadig and Nair are fish belt, so the blend will happen. But you should tell
Yes,
us.
yes. So the Nadig Nair is actually was no doing of my own. I had just returned from the US and after my PhD, and I was looking to, I was wondering what to do. Should I do academia, which was the natural thing to think about after a PhD. So I am Bangalore, and I courted each other for a month. They offered me assistant professorship, which in retrospect was actually a damn good deal. But they told me I should sit in on the MDP, and I was 26, I was full of myself. I said, I can teach one of those courses. Why should I sit in? And the then dean said, it's because you'll get some real world experience. I said, sitting in a classroom is not going to happen. I said, so let me go out and get the real world experience. So, anyways, I evaluated various organizations, and job search was really simple in those days, right? I said, okay, FMCG, IT, hospitality, pharma. Who are the big names in each of these? I wrote to each of them. So I wrote to Infosys, Brook Bond Lipton, Smith, Glaxo, and uh, the Taj Group. I had interviews with all of them. I had offers from all of them. I picked Brook Bond Lipton because I loved their recruitment process. I shadowed a senior leader for 3 half days.
Wow. Okay.
Um, yeah, so it was a really cool company. Except when I went in there, this was the corporate office, and so in
Whitefield,
my family, yeah, Brookfields. So
Brookfields. Yeah, yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when I went in there, and in my family, we have good genes. So I basically looked way younger than 26, and the average age in that office was about 40, 45, which was very old for me at that time. I said, "Ayo, I'll never fit in over here," and that too, I had one Yankee accent at that time. So I said, "That's it. I've got to wear sari." So from that day, every for me, work equals sari. Anyway, so going back to Brook Bond Lipton, I had a young secretary, this incredible woman called Rekha. Uh, I don't know what to do with a secretary, right? I'm like, I've just finished a PhD. I mean, I've done all my kutakam myself. And so at one point, she came to me after the first, 3, 4 weeks, and she yelled at me. She said, "You're not giving me any work. You do your own typing. You don't dictate any mails. What do you want me to do?" So after having been finally rebuked by her and therefore giving her a bunch of exciting work to do, I went away to get married. And of course, my mother was mourning because I got married on a Sunday and I worked even on the day before on Saturday. She said, "You look at you, you're going to have dark circles, you're going to be such an awful looking bride." But anyway, I came back from wedding and I had this set of new cards printed for me, which said Dr. Vandana Nadig Nair. It was Rekha who had empowered herself to decide that that's what I would be called. So that's
Wonderful.
how Vandana Nadig Nair. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, nice. Actually, that she was so open to make sure that you had all the components of your life intact in the name.
Yes.
So, what was your PhD on?
So my PhD was on in the, I was it's in industrial organizational psychology, which is a mouthful for OD, OB, people management,
Yeah.
business strategy, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, you're a psychologist," and they'll start, going down the path of unburdening and so on, and I'll say, "No, no, no, I'm fake psychologist. I'm org psychology."
Yeah, but still somewhere, I would say that the corporate exposure, especially with all the double-aged people above you, would have brought in a lot of people management skills, people reading skills, dealing skills. Uh,
Absolutely.
I'm sure that is the major amount of. I don't think that any MBA will give you that kind of knowledge
Oh,
that you would have
absolutely.
gained with the people there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just one of the
And
best organizations to have begun career in. You know,
so you were
such a
dealing
lovely
with
culture.
products. You were also designing, dealing.
No, 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 no.
No.
So I began career long ago. I used to be an HR person.
Okay.
I've not actively done HR stuff, but I guess if if you have a team, then everyone's a people manager. So
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
HR person, yeah.
Wonderful. So, from corporate, when did you move out of Brookfields?
So moved out of Brookfields uh, soon after I had my older daughter. Um, and I was just sort of bored, and I wanted to do something different. IT was big and happening then, so I joined a startup, set up the whole sort of HR function, hired team, grew the people, and got bored again. And at that time, Krishna, who's my older one, was 2 years old, and I said, I should spend more time with her, and so on. So let me go into consulting. Um, uh, uh, it was a good decision, except I was working 17, 18 hours a day, so I was not getting quality time with her. But that was my first sort of entrepreneurial venture, which was corporate consulting, which I did for about a decade before I got completely sort of as up to here with the corporate space, and the impact space was calling, and so moved out about 12 years ago into the social impact space.
So, when we say social impact, I know these are now new jargons which we are all learning.
Right.
So,
Right.
what do we make out of it for anybody listening?
Um, so honestly, when I began, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just knew it couldn't be corporates. I knew it had to make a difference to people, to people who were less fortunate. And for a change, I was not my usual, like, okay, I'm going to go and do this. I said I'd take a sabbatical. And so I actually, the sabbatical was for a year, and then I did get impatient about 6 months. But I volunteered full time with an anti human trafficking organization, which was baptism by fire, because I went on raids, on rescues, spent 52 hours straight in a police station. Because of the FIR process, it takes that long.
Yeah.
Testified in court against the then kingpin of Bangalore. Had plainclothes people watch me for a few months. Yeah, it was like it was, this. I mean, Bollywood is based on
Yeah.
real
This is
stuff,
out of
really.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also did work in Bihar with the Kasturba Gandhi Bal Vidyalayas. And when I was traveling around Bihar, would stop at like chai shops where they would also be selling kattas for $50. It was completely surreal. I think those of us who live in metros, almost we don't even know that there's another universe out there. It's almost like a
Yeah.
parallel universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was really useful, because it helped me understand is, there are so many passionate visionaries out there who are doing such incredible grassroots work. But what these visionaries don't know how to do, maybe don't even want to do, is to grow and scale their organizations and scale their impact. And that was something I knew how to do from the corporate side. And I figured, let me see if I can extend it to apply in the impact space. So, broadly, that part of me, we work. It's called ficus, and we work with NGOs, social enterprises, whole range of impact organizations. We run a leadership program with IIM Bangalore called Aritra. And all of this is to help leaders in the space manage their organizations better, and grow
So
and
it's
scale
like
those
for the
organizations.
smaller NGOs, you train them or teach them the skills of how to run it, how not to go
Yeah.
on a loss, how to sustain
Smaller,
themselves.
smaller, mid-size, very large.
Big
We work with the
or anyone.
range. Yeah,
Oh, nice,
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, because there are passionate people who get together, start a NGO, but many times not have direction. I think it
Correct.
makes a lot of sense to have people like you, or more people like you who are there as mentors who can, help out. Wonderful, wonderful. But yeah, it's very scary also on the other side because uh, not everything good that people want to do is received very easily by the community. There
Yeah.
are more and more hurdles, more and more challenges that you're posed with when you try to do something good. And
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if we go by the movies that we see and the topic trafficking, I'm sure your
Yes.
family would have been very worried.
Yes.
Every time
Yes.
you stepped out, I'm sure they would have
Yes.
been very worried. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just I mean it's heartbreaking, to that's I mean that's a reality that is just it's really gut wrenching. I think of all the causes and so on that I've supported, that one for me is the hardest to do. Yeah.
So
Also
after
because I have
that,
girls.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. So after that, so life was as enjoying what we were doing, and I had a plate full, and I definitely did not have the time for yet another organization. And but I like to say, ELDERAID sort of just happened to me. It was my karma and my co-founder Santosh's midlife crisis. Uh, so yeah, so in 2015. I set up ELDERAID because I'm privileged. I have my parents are in Bangalore, my in-laws when they were alive in Bangalore, so been able to be part of their support system and provide all the assistance they need. But I have several aunts and uncles and cousins not here, and we're a very close knit family. And when one such uncle passed away, and we were all together, I looked around the room. I said, great, there were some 40, 50 of us within an hour. But I also said, wow, there were just about three of us who were young, and we weren't any spring chicken. We were all in our 40s then. And it's like, well, who does this for elders who don't have a support system, right? And that just sort of grabbed me, and I said, and I talked about it ad nauseum with friends, family, and that's when sort of Santosh, also a dear friend, said, let's do this. And that's really how ELDERAID began.
Hey, Santosh is here.
Hi, surprise.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we did bit of match fixing.
Yeah, clearly. I did not know you were going to show up. Okay.
yeah. So when we talk about co-founders, it is very nice to have them with you on screen and probably, talk about each other and say how naughty you guys are, apart from doing all the good work. What are your quirks and how you enjoy what you do, basically. Because if you're not having fun, clearly you're not going to be pursuing the passion. The passion
Yes.
is driven by the fun that you guys manage to create, and I'm sure that it is happening by the team creates that fun. Obviously you'll
Yes.
go and sit and laugh with the elders, but what how you deal. So Santosh, please tell us more about Vandana and her you know uh, amazing skills of people management.
Yeah. See, I can see,
No
can you see
guns,
the gun
guns won't
already?
work here. Guns won't work here, don't worry.
No, no, she's great fun to be, to work with. Uh, the best thing about Vandana is that she looks at things in multiple levels. And, I've been a sales guy throughout, so I look at anything. I look at, okay, where what is the angle in it, where we can grow business, or look at things slightly from a slightly business angle. I think between two of us, I think I have the little business sense in it. If given a chance, Vandana, we in fact when we started, we actually wanted to start this as an NGO,
Okay.
but then the current our situation in the across, so we were advised not to start as an NGO, because that again brings into a lot of
Regulations,
issues with
compliances. Yeah.
regulatory and things
Yeah.
like that. So that's where we started Eldraid with, because for us it was clearly cost driven, you know and it was not about business per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like I said, so Vandana looks at it from multiple angles. So she will look at it, whereas I will look at it from a customer point of view, okay, how it will work for him. Whereas Vandana will look at multiple stakeholder, from ELDERAID point of view, customer point of view, and also at a 50,000, bird's eye view as well. So,
Prithvi, he's giving you the party line, okay? What
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
telling you is how I
A
lose it,
taskmaster you are.
how I lose it very
Yeah,
often, how he's the one who bears the brunt of my losing it. The number of
that's why
times
we
I've
called him.
threatened to walk out.
That's why we called him here, because I know when Santosh shared the initial days of Elder Aid, saying that they're planning something. I didn't know about the entity, who is with him. It was a wonderful idea because I was toying with the old age home long back, before even I started my school. No, had the thought,
Nice.
but then never
Nice.
got to doing it. And I thought, okay, Santosh is doing something, so let me also try and see how I can be part of it and help. I'm at least happy now we are doing some fun related, music related stuff together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
probably once I am a little more committed to give time, I will be one of the volunteers who will go sit with somebody and talk and watch a movie or play a board game.
Yeah.
Let's see. So while we are at that, I would like to show the people who are here what ELDERAID does. So just hang on.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Vandana, and I'm delighted to introduce you to ELDERAID. Over the past 6 years, we have served over 2,000 elders across Bangalore and other cities and look forward to helping you and your elders. We offer holistic end to end support across healthcare, wellness, and concierge services to help your elder live a life of security, dignity, and independence in the comfort of their own home. Our trained care managers will help your elder with anything they may need, from getting them a full time caretaker, at home health checks and doctor visits, accompanied outings, running errands, and more. We even provide emergency support until friends and family arrive. You can request a care sathi for your elder who will spend time with them, reading to them, playing board games, watching movies, much as a grandchild would. You and your elder will both also have full access to all our wellness services, including a knowledge repository and fun online events. We look forward to supporting your elders like we support our own.
Why, that's a lot of place you people are in. Mysore, Ahmedabad, Palakkad, Coimbatore. Where else? And how do you manage?
Hyderabad, Chennai.
How do you manage?
So we actually have incredible partners in each of these cities who are our on the ground teams who because they understand the local market, they have the local networks, and so they are elder on the ground in each of these cities. While we provide them with back end support, technology, digital marketing, training, and so on.
Wonderful. So Santosh, tell us something humorous that she is, or situations that she's dealt under pressure with the laughter, or made it very light.
uh,
You have to think very hard.
that,
So,
that put me on the
so I
spot.
see there is a library of these stories, right? Just like the books we either.
Except none of them involve humor under pressure.
Yeah,
Okay.
on a later day we will laugh about it, but yeah, not at that point of time when it happens. Like,
Yeah. But is there pressure? Is there panic pressure happening from elders?
no, 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 not really. It's not from a customer point of view. It's more from external, factors.
Resources.
Yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful. He's
especially
playing it
with banks and
smarter.
all
He's
that.
not. He's
No,
playing
no,
it
no.
very smart. Yeah.
He's the calm one. I'm the one
Yeah.
who'll lose it and erupt like Mount Vesuvius. So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
he's
Oh,
right.
I understand.
Mhm.
Fine. Thanks, Santosh. Thanks for joining in. And I
Sure.
wish you would have given us more secrets about her. But yes, we shall wait for another day to meet you in person and get to know more.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Thanks for
you.
having me. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So now I would like to know a little more about these elders and how yes, having elders at home prepares you for the kind of things they would require. I think that happens first. But then reaching out to many people, I have a friend who's a geriatrics counselor, so I've heard a lot of stories and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
think from your point of view, the people who go there need to have a lot of patience, lot of things to take on, because I'm sure they'll be venting. Nobody talks to them. They must be venting out so much. So how, what is the process? What is the training involved for the people who work with you?
Yeah. So, when we started business, we went down the traditional path. We said we will hire people with BSW, MSW, but we realized that uh, a degree did not matter in the kind of work that we do. What really mattered was the person's ability to be empathetic and compassionate and to have mountains of patience. Um, and so our whole hiring process shifted. We started asking for caregiving examples from their own life. How close are they to their elders? For example, our most successful care manager uh, uh, actually dropped out of college to support his father who had an accident and was paralyzed. He understands caregiving. He knows what it means to be compassionate, empathetic, and patient. So I think so. Selection is a big differentiator. How do you even get the right people on board? And the second, of course, is what's the kind of training that you do. And yes, while we do have a fairly rigorous induction, we have soft skills training, all of that. We find that there's no better training than to shadow an existing care manager. So when a new care manager joins, for the first 2 weeks, all they're doing is shadowing various other care managers to really understand what does it mean. And even now that we have partners and we have care managers now in all of these cities, we do regular fortnightly huddles with them, with our experienced care managers from Bangalore, to actually do scenario sharing, to do troubleshooting, and everyone gets to hear them. So it's a constant process because you learn from each other's stories, experiences, and all of that.
So I've been working with a lot of 16 to 25, and I see that many of them are very, very sensitive, and they're
Yes.
very forthcoming to do such
Yes.
thing. Tell us about that age group and what do you find?
Yeah. A fairly sort of recent service that we introduced is what we call our Care Sathi model. Right now, these are young college students, all in the age group that you mentioned, who are just very passionate about, helping out, working with elders, and so on. So while we call our core service our proxy child model, we call the Care Sathi model our proxy grandchild model, right? So, for example, we have a care sathi who is helping a lady, an elderly lady, write her memoirs because she's
Okay,
led a very colorful life. We have
wonderful.
another care sathi who goes by 3 times a week to an elder who's suffering from early stage dementia and plays board games. We have another one who's reading to an elder 3 times a week because he's lost his vision. And it's these are gig economy. It's paid, so they make a small sort of they make a little
Pocket money, yeah.
money, like pocket money out of this. But yeah, they do it because they're passionate about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of youngsters who are very, very passionate. It's very nice that you have a organization like this. So we have a couple of comments that I would like to put up on screen for you. Maybe
Sure.
many people you would know.
Okay.
There's one namaste. Namaste, Shubha. I hope you're enjoying the conversation, and we will probably put up how to reach ElderAid a little later so that you can all reach out.
Thank you. Thanks, Kanmani. Hey, hi,
Yeah,
good to see you.
and good to see him because he's sitting in the US currently and wishing from there. Thanks so much. Yeah. So coming back, I know that you have another passion. You know, tell us about that. Yeah, very interesting because I like it. I like the thought that you started when you started. Tell us about
So,
that.
a little bit of I like to say a late bloomer in life in many things. So, for example, because I was soda booty glasses, I never learned to swim. My husband's a state level swimmer for West Bengal. He used
Wow.
to be. So he taught me to swim after we got married. So I'm able to sort of I can save myself.
Survive. Yeah.
So yeah, I can survive. So similarly, I used to be the kind who would Google for holidays. I'd Google luxury room service like that. So the joke was, oh, she'll never survive a trek. I said, what nonsense. Of course I can do this. They said, a week, no water, no electricity, no connectivity, no way. I said, way, I can do this. So of course, at the end, I chickened out and told my husband, Vinod, I said, please come with me. Which he did. So I actually went on my first ever Himalayan trek. So I had to go directly up the Himalayas, right? So went up to Sikkim to Zongri. When I was 39 and absolutely loved it. I mean, it was transformative. To trudge up another 500 meters, which felt like a lifetime, at 3:30 in the morning, to wait on a narrow ridge and see the sun come up on the Kanchenjunga it was like seeing God, you know. Came down that mountain with a bum knee. So screaming, shouting in pain all the way because you have to come down yourself. No one's going to bring you down. So
Yeah.
the time I came down, my right knee was the size of a football. I had developed bursitis. The fluid had basically gone. I was in physiotherapy for like 3-4 months, and uh, Dr. Hemant Kalyan in Manipal, who I went to visit, gave me some of the soundest advice I'd ever got. He said, "See, you've got bad knees. Hereditarily, you have bad knees. I will have to operate on you and replace them." He said, "Can we try and delay that process?" And he said, so I just have two pieces of advice. He said, one, lose weight. He said, I'm not telling you you're fat. I'm just saying the lighter you are, the easier it is on your knees. And the second, which is very interesting, was he said, vary your exercise. I used to be a walker, would only walk. He said, you can't fix the knee, but you can fix all the muscles around it. You can strengthen those. So that's serendipitous. So in addition to the walking, I started cycling, and serendipitously, at that time, I met my guru, my Mohiniyattam guru, Jayashri Munkur. Now, growing up, I've always dabbled in dance, little Bharatanatyam, little Odissi, little Kathak, little hip hop, jazz ballet. I've done all of it. But she was just, I think I just found my Yoda
Calling.
in her.
Yeah.
And I started Mohiniyattam at the age of 40, uh, and did my Arangetram when I was 48. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah,
That's like awesome. Yeah.
it was fulfilling. It was very fulfilling, and so I continue to learn from her because I haven't even scratched the surface. I teach as well when I have the time, and I have extremely patient students who are willing to work with my schedule. So yeah, that's that a very very fulfilling passion.
So Arangetram at 48 is
Yes.
definitely salute. That calls for a salute. It's wonderful. And I think for all your ELDERAID people who are in Bangalore or around Bangalore, we will have a Mohiniyattam performance at the final side by you and your students.
Oh, I'd love
That
that.
will
I'd
be an
love that. Thank
amazing thing for all of them also.
you.
So,
It'd be
yeah,
lovely.
1 minute. There is another message.
Ah,
Sudha.
hey,
Yes,
Sudha.
I'm sure she knows. I'm sure she knows who you are, Auntie. Yeah, don't worry. Kanmani is here again, inspiring, loving every bit of this conversation. Wonderful. So while we are at this conversation, I would also take a moment to show the finer side. Uh,
Yes.
Probably I'll give you a small break to get back whatever you're drinking, refill, do whatever, or sit and watch.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Wonderful to see this venue come alive. The sound was great, acoustics were great. Thanks a lot to the finer side.
I mean, what can I say about this place? It's such an inspiration for all artists like me, and I feel like coming and again and performing here.
ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್, ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ವೈಬ್, ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಈ ಜಾಗ ಈ ತರ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಆಶಿಸ್ತೀನಿ.
ಬಹಳ ದಿನಗಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆ ಜಾಗದ ಹೆಸರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ದಿ ಫೈನರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗನ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
This beautiful auditorium, it's very inspiring to see how it has been designed for the sake of arts.
ಚಿತ್ರ ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ ಕಟ್ಟು ಬಂಗಾರ ಬಣ್ಣದ ರೂಪ, ಚಿನ್ನ ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ ಸೇರ್ಕಂಡಾಗೆ ನನ್ ಗಂಗೆ ರೂಪ.
बहता है मन कहीं, कहाँ जानती नहीं, बहता है मन कहीं. यूं ही बरस बरस गए घटा बरसे, हम यार भीग जाए इस चाहत की बारिश में. रिम झिम गिरे सावन, सुलग सुलग जाए मन, भीगे आज इस मौसम में लगी कैसी लगन.
Hi everyone, it was a lovely music evening and I thoroughly enjoyed, and I am looking forward for many such lovely programs. Thanks to TFS, and I'm hoping to be coming here again and again.
Yes, we are back. Yeah, so very interesting. This is what we are doing there, and I hope more and more artists, more and more people come and use it. We wound up the year with Mitra for Life, and we had a few special children performing Bharatanatyam, keyboard, mridangam, singing. It was amazing. It was just amazing to see them, bloom and be so creative, which they are. So probably I'm going to rope you in for another project which we had in mind. We had a project in mind called the second innings, where we want all the elderly people to come together. Like you said, the dance helped your knee. I'm sure theater activities will help them
Oh, yes.
overcome
Oh,
a
yes.
lot more. And I'm sure many of them would have been performers during their days, in their
Yes.
college, home, wherever. So we would want probably a tie-up with ELDERAID to start the second innings, and
Lovely.
we'll figure
Happy
out
to
how
do
to do
this.
that. And the aim is going to be that the Deccan Theatre Festival. We will
Okay.
represent there, and we will have a play from the elders.
Nice,
Is
nice.
the is
Grand
the,
idea.
the bucket list. It's in the bucket list, and we should do that.
Lovely.
So, I mean, you already have the connect, so I don't need to reinvent. So it makes it more easier to bring this project there.
Lovely.
We will discuss
Lovely.
this otherwise later. But
Yes, yes.
coming back to Dr. Vandana, Nadig, Nair, what do you do with your children?
So I have two gorgeous girls, Krishna, who turns 24 this month, and Meera, who's 15. Krishna works full time with me at ELDERAID, and actually stepped in when I was just sort of a little bit losing it, and has built out our wellness vertical. Um, Meera is a cricketer. She goes to the sports school and is currently trying to balance a foot injury. She's a batter, wicket keeper, and 10th grade.
Okay,
Just two gorgeous babies, and I absolutely couldn't have done any of this without my rock star husband.
wonderful, wonderful. Someday we will probably have all of you together. Yeah. So, what next from Elderade? What all are you planning? Is there anything that is in the pipeline? So you're in a
Yeah.
very good area, very good space, but why not a old age home also?
Sure. So, in a country of, so I think two reasons why I think old age homes or any kind of institutional support is much harder in India. The first is just the sheer reality of our numbers. We're huge. It's uh, in 2050, 1 in 5 people is going to be an elder. That's 20% of our population, right? So the number is just going to be staggering. So for that reason, institutional care does not make sense. The second, which I think is much larger, is the deep cultural stigma associated with institutional care. Where the thought process is my children should take care of me, and oh, you're going to they're sending you to an old age home. So there is stigma attached to this, I think. And that's not to take away from some of the most incredible assisted living facilities that we do have in India, especially in Coimbatore, like what Colonel Sridharan runs, the Kovai
The
Care
Nana
Institutes
Nani,
and so on. They're also
they're
one of
also
the ones. Coimbatore is a retirement capital in that sense of India. But yeah, so therefore, I think institutional care is just going to be this relevant to this extent in our country, which is why our model is really, it's about how can I keep the elder happy, healthy, secure in their own homes. Yeah. So it's at-home services that we provide. In terms of what's coming up for us, I think definitely we see ourselves growing to a few more of the metros, um, definitely across south, west, and a little bit of East India. People ask me why not north, and I say we are all curd rice people. Culturally, I don't know how it will work, so we need really good, solid partners in the north to make it work. um, but but after that, really what we want to do is scale the impact, right? My dream is to create an army of elder care entrepreneurs, so that every village has an elder care entrepreneur who is in some way also able to monetize the help and support that they provide, because in rural India the needs are just so different, right? For example, I was just in a conversation earlier this morning around how there is vaccination fear amongst
yeah,
elders, amongst so many people, but especially amongst elders. Basic entitlements, benefits, engagement in rural India is an even bigger problem, because elders are lonely and at home, many cases abandoned. So needs there are very different, and I think will need to be addressed very differently. But yeah, so the dream is to create a cadre of elder care entrepreneurs across India. We'll see where that goes.
wonderful. How about the government doesn't partner in these things, or haven't you not looked at that?
So I think the measures have been few and far in between. But just earlier this week, there was a very, very comforting article by Economic Times about how the government is actually looking at getting, putting in place a lot more standards, policies in the elder care space, and they're starting consultations. We applaud it and think it is a much needed step in the right direction.
Yeah, because guys like you should all be on the board policy making also in terms of reaching out, training, getting more geriatric counselors out, more hands-on people like the
Yeah,
satis that you have created uh,
yeah,
will work wonders for a lot of community across. And with the vastness that is there, as you said
yes,
rightly, you need government bodies to take you inner and inner.
yeah,
I don't know. There must be some thoughts in your mind. I'm sure that you and Santosh will figure out how to crack that and
yes, yes.
reach bigger places. So I've asked if there's anyone who has a question for you specifically in this segment. Uh, if not, I would like you to give us some information for people to reach you. How do they reach Elder Aid? I'll put it up on the chat. You can
Okay, so
also say it.
just okay, yeah. So just our website, www.elderaid.in, ELDERAID.in, and our number is 8123 400 400.
8123 400 400. Hurry,
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yes.
Yep, finally.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Done. Okay. So, need a message from you before we wind up, if there are no other questions, in terms of two or three segments of people who are there. One, those who are very busy, who can't give time, but probably in some other kind or in some other way, how they can help. Two, for those youngsters who would probably look at it as an internship or look at it as an experience, because I'm sure they're dealing with their own elders at home and grandparents at home. So I think external elders and grandparents bring in a different kind of sensitivity. It's taken for granted always at home, but when you
Yes.
look at it outside, you will connect to those inside and say, okay, these are no
Yes.
different than my grandparents are no different than these.
Correct.
So a
Correct.
message to them as to how they can contribute. Third thing is for all those people who look at how do I help my parents, whether I'm in
Yeah.
at home busy or I'm outside the country and I want to help, or there is a situation where there is a husband and wife and suddenly one of them passed away, there is somebody who becomes alone and
Yes.
the children are outside, so it becomes very challenging for the children to
Yeah.
give the
Yeah.
right care. You know how these three segments, please a message for each.
Sure. So simple message, call me. But but on a more detailed note, I think if I were, I always say this to people, if there's one thing that you can do for your elders, anyone in your community, your family, anybody, I think it is recognize the importance of engaging with your elders, right? When we think of wellness, we all think of physical wellness. You know, they're getting old, they are getting frail. It is natural that they are going to deteriorate and slide in health. But here's what we have seen over the past 6 years of serving elders: a well elder, right? A holistically well elder stays well, physically well longer. And even if they have a physical dip, they bounce back much quicker. And when we talk about holistic wellness, we're really focusing on emotional well being, psychological well being, social well-being, right? Are you staying in touch with your elders? Are you connecting with them? Do you talk to them regularly? They're lonely. They want to feel connected to their children, to their grandchildren, to their siblings. What are you doing to help them? It's not just enough to call them or to buy them an expensive phone. Have you taught them how to use it? By the way, I can teach them how to use it. We have a program called Get Elders Online, which is just focused on this, and that's a volunteer-based support. So I think that's one big message I want to leave is engage your elders holistically. It is extremely important to help in healthy active aging. In terms of children who are abroad, I hear your pain. This is real. We About 85% of our customers have children outside of India, right? I can be facetious and say, well, ensure you hire me for your parents and you'll be all set, but I'm not everywhere yet, right? I think it's very important that you proactively now create that network of support for them. Do you have someone who locally, who can, a neighbor? Do you know who all their neighbors are? Do you have all their neighbors numbers on your phone on speed dial? Whenever you're in India, do you stop and spend time with them? Because remember that they are your first port of call, right? Are you staying in regular touch with their physicians, for example? Do you have, so I think it's really about proactively anticipating various doomsday scenarios and having a plan in place for that. Because what catches us is the fact that we're caught unawares. And by the way, these things will always happen at night, or in your night if you're in the US and you're woken up rudely to for that dreadful call. So I think just be prepared and do what you need to do for that. There's no point being ostriches and imagining, oh, this will not happen. It will happen. It will happen to all of us, right? Being prepared helps that. And for the young ones out there, seriously get in touch with us, because in the cities where we are delighted to explore a care sathi engagement. And if not, internship period is coming up. We run a very vibrant internship program at ELDERAID, and the person who coordinates the internships is Krishna, and her email is just krishna@elderaid.in. It's KRISHNAA.
Once again, please. Once again.
Sorry, Krishna, KRISHNAA @elderaid.in. Yeah, and delighted to. Last year we had we had 15 interns who did some miraculous work, and we're looking forward to an internship program. That's one. Prithvi, you may want to remove ELDERAID.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So please, we have an internship program. Perfect.
Wonderful. That's a good message. And that is something which I think will help even the teenagers and others to, groom themselves. Because in this world, the last 2 years, the screen has become parent, grandparent, friend, enemy. Everything is the screen. Everything is the laptop. There's no people.
Yes.
And I'm sure that what we enjoyed as teenagers without phones, one small chai shop which we everybody meet, so you don't need to know whether you're coming there, just go there, everybody's there. Now it's no more like that. You don't venture out at all. It's a plan that needs to be made, and then you get to know that they went on Instagram.
Yes.
So most of the children don't take their parents in as friends in Instagram because they know they're tracking. But yes, there is. Luckily, we didn't have spaces to leave our proof of what we did. We were gifted. Yeah, but good, nice. Thanks for that lovely message. Wonderful. This is a wonderful conversation. This is something which is very meaningful. Yes, the gray hairs are here, so We are in your list shortly. We'll come as volunteers and someday probably have a volunteer come by too, but it's all there. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you on this Matka Chai. Thanks,
Thank
friends,
you
for
so much.
listening in. Yeah. You want to close with thank you to all the people who are listening.
Yeah, thank you so very much, everybody. I've had incredible fun doing this. Thank you so much, Prithvi, for asking me.
Welcome. Thank you and a good night.
Good night.